The woman was buried alive by a mudslide. To survive, she suddenly pulled out a screwdriver and desperately dug a hole in the car roof. But as soon as she pulled out the screwdriver, mud instantly poured in. She panicked at the sight, but quickly used a towel to block the hole. However, the air was completely cut off. To get fresh air, she forced herself to stay calm, pulled out a folding chair, and took out its hollow steel pipe, then plugged one end with a bottle cap, and forcefully shoved it upward through the small hole. But the deeper the pipe went, the heavier and tighter the mud became. She clenched her teeth and added a second pipe, but it still wasn't long enough, so she extended the pipe again. Yet even after pushing the full length, no light came through. At that moment her hand was cut by the sharp pipe. Blood dripped down her arm, but she refused to give up. Using her shoulder to brace the backpack, she used all her strength to push upward. After countless failed attempts, she finally broke through to the outside, but she hadn't forgotten. She still needed to make the man and the scheming woman pay. Just days ago, the man had teamed up with the woman to seize her family assets. They tricked her into going to the landslide zone, and when she passed out, they cruelly left her in the car, watching the mudslide bury her alive. A long time later she finally woke up, and saw thick layers of mud outside. The sunroof was crushed. Muddy water kept seeping in. She frantically bit off tape to seal the cracks, then used an umbrella to prop up the glass, barely stabilizing the situation. But before she could rest, she realized the danger wasn't over. She started banging on the windows, and screamed for help, but no one answered. In the extreme tension, she had no water, and her phone had no signal, but she refused to die. She had to survive to make them pay. Meanwhile, the man and the scheming woman faked sadness in front of the media, pretending to mourn her death, and took the chance to seize control of the company. But her personal assistant stepped up, and questioned them on the spot. Why were they unharmed, while only she went missing? He insisted on taking people up the mountain to search. The man pretended to pull out a pen and commit suicide. The woman quickly stopped him with fake concern, but the assistant remained cold, and firmly stated they must find the body to uncover the truth. Still the man kept up his act, saying he was heartbroken over her death. But due to the landslide, they simply couldn't find her, since rescuers' lives also mattered. He then announced rescue would wait until the rain stopped, but the next second he smirked with a sinister smile. On the other side, the woman remembered they were all in the same car, and that she blacked out right after drinking water from her best friend. Realizing what happened, she swore to make them pay. To stay alive, she started collecting dripping water with bottles, but as time passed, the air in the car thinned. She began to lose consciousness, yet for the sake of her family, and to bring justice, she held on with pure willpower. At that moment the man and the woman put on a sad act again, visiting her parents in the hospital, pretending to apologize, saying it was all their fault she ended up in danger, and now that the company was in chaos, they needed her parents' help. Her father, due to his poor health, allowed them to temporarily manage the company. The man then quickly promised he'd go find the best doctors for him, but as soon as they returned to the company, the scheming woman sat in the owner's chair,